What's up, my friends? Welcome in. It is time for Mock Draft 2.0. We're going to do one of these bad boys for you every week. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh from the DLLS Cowboys podcast, and it's going to be tough because Joe Hoyt did the one last week, and he took Ashton Jeanty. I'm not going to because I believe in presenting new names every week, but I am going to get you a running back. So, the draft is playing out. The Cowboys picked number 12 in the first round. I'm going 3 rounds here. And I'm going to do what Field Yates at ESPN, I believe is where he is. I'm going to do what he did because I think it's a player worth knowing and talking about. With the Cowboys' first-round pick, I'm going to select Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan. Because he's interesting to me. I don't know how many of you remember Derek Stingley when he was at LSU, but as a true freshman, he was so awesome. And that set up his draft stock forever. And he never really followed it up, and he was hurt. And now in the NFL, sure enough, the guy that we identified as an 18, 19-year-old as a stud, we were right. Will Johnson has a little bit of the same thing going on at Michigan. What you get is a 6'2", 200-pound corner. That is a dream come true. That is a built in a lab, walking off the bus, perfect-looking corner. There will be some questions about the top-end speed. I have some questions about the way that he tackles. He's plenty physical, but most of his tackles look like he's cut blocking. But when you talk about a guy with proven production in terms of ball skills, interceptions, batting down passes, that is the size he is and moves the way he does, you are looking at a wonderful prospect at a premium position that if this year didn't happen, where his tape, I don't think matched what it was a year ago, when he was the MVP or the Defensive Player of the Year for the national champions. I don't think his tape this year lived up to what it was a year ago, and he got an injury. So that hurts him a little bit. If this year had never happened, he would be in the conversation with the Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. He would be in the top group. It's possible now that he gets to 12. It's possible he gets to 20. But I think it's a name worth knowing at a position that the Cowboys need that's a premium position. And so I'm going to throw out the name Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan, for the Cowboys in the first round. Then we go to the second round. We're going to need a little help here. I think it's possible this guy's not going to make it this far. Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. We don't want to take a running back in the first round, but I'll take one in the second. And I think Omarion Hampton, he's 6'1", he's 220 pounds. So as you can just hear with those numbers, this is a full-size dude that plays running back. And he has everything. He's a good receiver. He's a really good yards after contact guy. He sees it. He's a workhorse. He's done both zone blocking, gap. He can do them both. And I think the difference for me between Omarion Hampton and some of the other guys who are in the running to be the second running back taken is he is the full-size workhorse sort of back, but he also brings to the table the ability to make stuff happen when there's nothing there. Another guy who I think is ranked for a lot of people right by him is the Iowa running back Caleb Johnson, who I think is great, but he's more of a I'm going to do it exactly right. We're going to run outside zone. I'm on this track with my linemen, and when I feel and see what the crease is, this foot goes in the ground, I'm going. I'm going to do it perfect. I'm going to finish the run. Hampton, I think, has a little bit more of the it doesn't have to be zone blocking. I got a little more wiggle and ability to create a big play. I got a little bit more as a receiver. I am a huge Omarion Hampton fan. I think that the running back class goes Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, fight about the rest of these guys. And so if you could get him in the second round, I would love it. So far our mock draft is Will Johnson in the first round, cornerback out of Michigan, big position of need, premium position, potentially premium prospect. Omarion Hampton, second best running back in the draft according to me, workhorse, receiver, pass protector. You can hand it to him 20 times. You can throw it to him 8 times. He can break big plays for you. He is elusive, strong, everything. And then in the third round, well, we got to address the defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. Got to. And I would like to introduce everybody to Darius Alexander out of Toledo. 6'4", 310-pound defensive tackle. Especially if you don't get Osa back, somebody's got to be the 3 technique. Now, it comes with a warning. Defensive tackle is one of those positions that going from college to the NFL, it generally takes a minute for you to be ready to play at this level and do it really well. So for a guy who's also coming from Toledo, there's probably going to be a learning curve. But in the case of Darius Alexander, what you're talking about is a guy that you turn on the tape and it's inferior competition and he's whooping them, which is what you want. And you're like, okay, but I need to see this against guys who are going to play NFL football. This is where the Senior Bowl comes in. Darius Alexander got a Senior Bowl invite. Darius Alexander looked great at the Senior Bowl. Keep in mind, we're talking about a 310-pound guy, and it's not just lining up and going against centers and guards. He did some stuff where he was standing up outside against offensive tackles, and you're like, wow, you're not supposed to be able to move and bend like that at 6'4", 310 pounds. And so I think he took himself in the Senior Bowl from a 4th, 5th round to a potentially 3rd, maybe as high as the 2nd round. And we desperately need help at that position. You're desperately looking for a guy from the interior that can be disruptive, and that's his game. He's a good run defender against the competition that he played against, but I think he really shines as a guy that it's just really tough for interior offensive linemen to stay in front of him. You get him one-on-one with a guard, and that dude is going to be in trouble. So we needed help there. We got to find probably 2 more guys that played defensive tackle. You could bring back Osa and still take Darius Alexander, and that helps your defensive line. We probably still need another one. So what I'm doing here is I am taking the Cowboys' current positions of need and just trying to give you 3 names every week to keep in mind, to have a general idea of who these guys are and what they could potentially bring to your football team. And so, yeah, this week's mock draft for the Cowboys is a 3-rounder. We'll do all the way through 7 eventually, but I've studied about 100 players. I'm comfortable doing 3. So I got you your running back, but I got him in the 2nd round instead of the 1st. Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. I got you a corner because I also don't think that Trayvon Diggs is going to be ready to play football when the season starts, and then we'll see. And I think long-term, you probably need somebody for that spot too. So we'll have Will Johnson and Deron Bland, hopefully bring back Jordan Lewis. Bang, we're ready to play corner. Darius Alexander in the 3rd round out of Toledo. Slide into Osa's spot. You're probably going to need a veteran there too, because I would hate to bank on a rookie for too much in that position. And that's what we got. Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan. Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. Darius Alexander, defensive tackle, Toledo. Here's my favorite part about mock drafts. You, the viewer, are going to go, you didn't get fill in the blank, and you're going to be mad at me about it. Leave it in the comments. Tell me where I screwed it up, and I'll fix it next time. I didn't get CeeDee Lamb a running mate. All right, but if I do, I didn't get a corner. You didn't get we don't have enough linebackers. All right, I could have taken a linebacker. Now I don't have a running back. This is where our Cowboys are, so we're just doing the best we can with what we got. So thanks for stopping by. I believe technically this is Mock Draft 2.0 on the DLLS Cowboys channel. Joe Hoyt did the first one. I've done the second one, and I'll be back next week with a new batch of names. If you have a favorite guy that you want the Cowboys to use their 1st-round pick on, I want to hear about it. If you've got a guy that you think I haven't watched yet, but I need to, I want to hear about it. Leave all of those things in the comment on this video. I dare you, or else that's not a threat. Have a great day.
We all silly like the mayor.